Okay, Pearson Subjunctives, Lesson 3. We're going to take a look at the passive now. Same deal. We're going to do the indicative right alongside of the subjunctive. And then we'll give you a rule for formation. So, present, indicative, passive of laudo. She is praised. That's going to be laudator. Pretty simple. And then, for the subjunctive, it's going to be laudator. Cool? Same deal. Vowel change. That's the rule. And again, it's a little different for second, third, fourth, fifth conjugation, but that's okay. We'll get to that in time. So for the imperfect, this is great. The good old laudabatur. Very similar. Just the addition of the passive ending there. And the same rules that hold true for the present hold true for the imperfect here. Laudator. It's the same deal, but you add the passive endings. So this is present, active, infinitive, plus ending. Yeah. That's the same rule for the active. And this is the same rule for the active. And of course the passive changes because it changes in the indicative too. So the perfect passive, laudatus est. So it's a two-word combo. And that's why it changes also in the subjunctive. The laudatus is the same. We're using the same perfect passive participle. And then we just take the verb to be and we put the verb to be in the subjunctive. As you might expect, the verb to be is irregular in the subjunctive just as it is in the indicative. So the rule here is perfect passive participle, the PPP, plus verb to be in the subjunctive. And the verb to be in the subjunctive, super easy. Sim sis sit, sim sitis sint, which is much more regular than the indicative. Now for the pluperfect, in the indicative, we start with the same old perfect passive participle. And we just change the verb to be to the imperfect. So what do you think happens in the subjunctive? That's right. We start with the perfect passive participle. And instead of the present subjunctive of the verb to be, we use the imperfect subjunctive of the verb to be, which, remember, the infinitive of the verb to be is esse, so the imperfect of the verb to be follows all the same rules as the regular verbs. So in the subjunctive, the verb to be is actually formed regularly according to rules. Rule here is perfect passive participle plus sum esse, verb to be, in the imperfect subjunctive. And I should probably specify up here that this is the present subjunctive. Sit here, esset here, and in both cases we are still going with the perfect passive participle right here. Okay. So that's what I wanted to show you, is that is the change that you get when you go from active to passive in the subjunctive. It's really just these tenses, the perfect and the pluperfect passive, that you have to learn anew. The present and the imperfect are very much the same as the present and imperfect active.